Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tea with TPS. Today, our distinguished guest is a doctor with a difference. He was graduated from the CMC Vellore, MBBS and MS, but interestingly, he's a marathon runner who takes part in at least 4 marathons every year. He runs 5 kilometers a day, and he has been a total vegan. I'm sure the viewers know what a vegan is for the last 20 years. Not an easy thing to do. A yogi for 45 years. I've not asked him how old he is, but 45 years he has been a yogi. Then he's a bridge player with American ranking and envisages a drug-free world. I cannot imagine a doctor envisaging a drugs-free world because then he'll have nothing to do. So that is why I said he's a doctor with a difference. Anyway, I'm with him today because of this book, Survive COVID by Staying Alkaline, published by my friend Sri KPR Nair of Konark in Delhi. Dr. Sri Nair published my first book back in, I don't know when, in 2007 or so. And then we have done a lot of work together. So in that context, he brought your book to my attention and also sent me a copy and said, here is a book which is going to change the world. So would you like to introduce Dr. Eapen Koshy to your viewers? I was delighted and so very happy that the doctor he wakes up at 4 o'clock, but today he is with us at 6:30 in the morning without any hesitation. Thank you, Dr. Eapen Koshy. Welcome to Tea with TPS.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, we will talk about your book. It is a very simple theme. It simply says there is only one way to overcome not just COVID, but also many, many diseases. That is to stay alkaline. This is not the first time one is hearing about it, but nobody has written about it so authentically and so assertively and so finally as you have done. And also it's a very, very short book. Anybody can read it in half an hour or 1 hour. But there is so much in it to digest and understand. And I thought your explanations will be of great value to our viewers. So tell us first, what exactly is the philosophy underlying the book?
Thank you very much. To say in very simple terms, a body that is alkaline is a non-toxic body. That is a body that is synchronous with Earth. Okay, a body that is synchronous with Earth will be a non-inflammatory body, and a body that is that has a lifestyle which follows the Earth pattern. Okay, and these are very simple things. Eating Earth products, that is not going for processed foods, which all make the food toxic and inflammatory, and not taking unnecessary drugs. In fact, no drugs. All drugs make us acidic and put us into an inflammatory state. Every single drug, because man is incapable of producing alkaline food. Only soil can do that. I shall explain that. Okay. And if you follow the Earth's circadian rhythm is the pattern of the sun and the earth. That is, when with sunset you have your dinner, sleep early and wake up early. Because when you sleep, that is when your body becomes alkaline. All the hormones are celebrating, regeneration occurs and repair occurs. That is when the body is repairing itself. And so you sleep every day early, get up early, follow the circadian rhythm, and you go into an alkaline mode. And you go up the alkaline ladder. That is what we should all do. I think I've given a simple understanding.
Yes, that's why I call this program Alkaline Ladder, because this is the ladder which is going to save us from all these problems. But let us go back to history. How is it that human beings have a certain sense about what is good for you? Prehistoric times, they picked up the food which was good for them. And when is it that we slipped away from that? Obviously, the Neolithic men were probably alkaline because they had nothing acidic to eat, though they might have been eating meat, perhaps. But let us go back to history and see when this change occurred and whether it is at all possible to go back to those times.
Excellent question. Yeah. Yes. In fact, I have mentioned this in my book also. See, Mr. Srinivasan, we all have in ourselves an immunological memory. It is not just from our parents or from our grandparents. It goes back to thousands and thousands of years. Okay. If, for example, if you look carefully at your body and change your eating pattern, the things that we have acquired, a taste that we have acquired, not given by our forefathers, after a week to 2 weeks of stopping them, you don't feel like eating them anymore. You go back to what your forefathers ate. I'm talking of even before Homo sapiens. All that is given to us with our genes. Yeah, what you said. But you said our forefathers ate meat. Yeah, meat is not really very acidic. I've given a pattern in the book. The most acidic foods are our processed foods, sugar and dairy products, and all drugs which we take for headache, all antibiotics, all of them make us acidic. Now, uh, this immunological memory, which you have just mentioned, is there ingrained in all of us. We just have to bring it out.
This is the drawing you have given, right?
That's correct. It's a pyramid which shows the. That is the ladder of alkalinity.
There is a line. There is a dividing line which you reach, and then you have to get back to the earlier part. That is exactly what you are recommending, right?
Yes, that is correct. So, where did we slip? It's been possibly a gradual slip, but in the last 150 years, we are slipping down very fast. That is with the advent of refined foods and chemical drugs. Okay, for example, I will tell you. All right, I can put cow dung into a coconut tree, or I can even urinate under a coconut tree, and next day I can take coconut water. Okay, which is full of antioxidants, full of potassium, and which is so alkaline. And the coconut is such an alkaline superfood. So are all the vegetables. Okay, we are incapable of producing an alkaline food. We are only capable of producing drugs or chemicals that change our symptoms, but does not upgrade our body or alkalinize our body. Only earth and earth products can do that. Now, what has happened in the last 3 or 4 decades is our soil has denatured and pesticides. So all the vegetables that we eat today, that anybody eats anywhere in the world, is not the same alkalinity or the same nutrition that it had 100 years ago or maybe 300 years ago. That is why right now it is very important that we know which are the superfoods which can give our alkalinity. Okay, and the herbs which we must resort to get our alkalinity back. So it is paramount.
In old days in the laboratories, we used to have something called the litmus test, isn't it? Showing whether it is alkaline and what is acidic. Yes. But how early did you think in terms of this drastic change necessary for us?
Thank you very much. See, all of us have a constant pH. It is how hard we try to maintain this pH that determines how long we live and how well we live. Okay, my body can be struggling every day, every minute to maintain my pH of 7.4, while your body will be at ease and you will live long without any disease. I will fall into some lifestyle diseases and give up my life because my body is struggling to maintain the alkalinity. To answer your question, I actually found it in myself about maybe 25, 30 years ago. After every long run, a marathon run, I used to get a swelling of my right tendo Achilles. It was an inflammatory swelling. So I had asked my orthopedic colleagues, and I took steroid injections. It'll go down for 4 months, and then it comes back again. After a long run, I can't walk because of the inflammation. I can't walk for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll be limping. And I'll be during rounds, I'll be ridiculed by everybody. There, the doctor has gone for a run again. I'll be limping. Now, so I tried everything, and this was not going away until I turned vegan and I turned to alkaline superfoods. Within the next few months, my inflammation went away. And I also realized I stopped aging. And over the last 20 years, I'm proving it myself every day. And I started giving this to patients, this advice. And I could see them coming out of hypertension, coming out of diabetes. And of course, nobody who's alkaline has ever got a pulmonary symptom of COVID. Pulmonary symptom of COVID. Yeah, it's all in the nutrition. Okay. A doctor who understands nutrition, which actually right now does not exist, is a real doctor. Okay. If not, tomorrow you will be going to see a nutritionist and not to a doctor, because a nutritionist will make everything well. Somebody who understands nutrition is the way forward.
So is this very close to Ayurveda then?
It is actually Ayurveda in a modern term. What I'm saying, Ayurveda or any traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine, Ayurveda, Siddha, they all talk of earth products, and that is alkalinity. Even though they don't mention it in these terms, it is actually a modified term of Ayurveda. But you practice it. You don't go and take you have to practice an alkaline way of life. Yeah.
But Ayurveda books do not make that distinction. Do they say that in the Ayurveda context?
When you look at all
alkaline in Ayurveda,
this is what they say. Once you understand alkalinity, that is what Ayurveda is all about. But they do not mention the term alkalinity, but they say you have to avoid. In Malayalam, you say patyam. So important. Patyam means stopping the negative nutrition. There is no point me taking all the superfoods and then resort to aspirin or paracetamol, or resort to a bottle of Coke or a cake with a lot of sugar. There is no point. So you have to stop the negative nutrition, take in positive alkaline nutrition, and there you are. All lifestyle diseases move away, and you will never have a lifestyle disease at all, and you live long.
Okay, everybody is now interested in COVID-19, and also
Yes,
we don't even know whether this is going to be the end of human life. You know, the indications are quite serious that we
Yes,
are moving towards maybe a non-existential humanity. But so this is a concern to everyone. Nobody on this earth is exempt from that. So when did you link this with COVID? COVID came only in 19. Before that, we had not heard of COVID. Of course, SARS virus was similar. There were other similar viruses. There have been other diseases, but at that time, did you already think about it, or did you read it in the context of COVID? Because your book is Surviving COVID. So, did you hit upon this as a prevention and a cure for COVID? And how do you understand COVID? What is it, and how are you going to deal with it?
thank you very much. In fact, my first book, Beyond Modern Medicine, was written 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And it's also about alkalinity and about alkaline superfoods. And having been in Africa for 4 years now, for 5 years now, I was looking around. And even before COVID came, I knew how was Ebola contained here. Ebola was contained because the African community knew, they understand alkalinity. They make their own alkaline foods. There was no medicine for it, but it was contained. There was no vaccine for it. But how was it contained? It's been eradicated in many parts of Africa because of alkalinity. And I could see that. Even before COVID came, it was not just me. The entire public knew they have to resort to their alkaline. They make from neem leaves, ginger, turmeric. Everybody was taking it. The public knows it. They knew about this alkalinity. That is why you don't have COVID. There is actually virtually no COVID in sub-Saharan Africa. The COVID cases here are the expatriates and the people here who have lived in the West for 20 years and come back, whose lifestyles are different and whose diet is different. But the indigenous man here does not get the symptoms at all. And because they understand alkalinity, they are maybe illiterate, may not be very high on the medical ladder. They may not be very high flung, but they understand alkalinity. That is why the world has to open its eyes and look. Why is sub-Saharan Africa, countries like Nigeria, Congo, Sudan, the cases are so minimal. Nigeria had a total of 2,200 cases over the last 2 years, which is phenomenal. And even that is cases that are more than what is actually the deaths, because it was a thing to show more cases to get more funds. I'm not allowed to discuss cases, but I'm just sharing with you. So,
okay, the perception today is that this somehow, because of through China, it came to the civilized world, the so-called industrialized world, the rich countries, etc. And the poor countries are just waiting to get the infection. That is the fear. Nobody says like you comfortably that, this place it is not there, maybe it will never be there. But the WHO
It is
is looking at it as though that is a calamity yet to come. So you don't think
this.
so?
It will not happen. It will not happen because people are
That is very
alkaline here.
comforting. Very
It
comforting. Yeah.
will never happen. Will ever happen. It should have happened because when the first wave happened in India, at the same time we had the virus coming here because we have a lot of Chinese and Lebanese people construction works and Europeans coming here because they are doing the construction. They had brought in the viruses too, and they were the first patients. But none of it was not spread at all. It was not spread at all. And of recent, when India had the second wave, we had a lot of laborers coming in. And I'm sorry to say, from Delhi and Bangalore, they came in and they were tested here and they were positive, and some of them were sick also. And they were all mingling with the population, but there was no wave here. So the answer is the alkalinity of the population is protecting the population here in sub-Saharan Africa.
This is the best news I have ever heard since the onset of COVID.
Yes.
Even if one part of the world is safe, then we can feel comfortable.
It is not one part of the world. Anywhere in the world, the people who are alkaline, who are up the alkaline ladder, will not be affected at all. It will be survival of the alkaline, not survival of the fittest, survival of the alkaline or the survival of the immune fittest. And that is what we are seeing now. And we see that these parts of the world are going to not be affected and they will survive. Yeah. Even if there is an extinction that is going on, these will be the last parts to be affected.
But is the World Health Organization aware of this?
Of course, it's a corporate world, Mr. Srinivasan. So it is we are all in a mad rush to find solution, to find drugs to kill this virus, which is actually where again we have lost our way. We only have to build up our body. Building up nutrition is free. It is having coconut, having ginger, lemon, neem leaf water, turmeric water, and eating an alkaline diet, sleeping early, getting up early. It is free. And nobody is opening their eyes. Okay, so somebody has to bell the cat. And here I am trying to spread the word around. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about this, but their voices are not heard. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Make your voice heard, at least to my listeners.
Thank you very much.
Well, but when you say this, you are assuming that you lose nothing by shifting to alkaline. But think of all the nice food we enjoy, the cuisine, the alcohol, the wine, and all this. When you give up, don't you lose something in your life?
You gain everything, you lose nothing. The day you stop sugar, you start your mouth starts to taste the cauliflower, the cabbage, the everything. It tastes better. The day you stop alcohol, you sleep better, and a lot of things improve in your life. There is no doubt. Yeah, I'm not saying stopping alcohol altogether. I don't drink, but you must stop. Alcohol is a medicine because alcohol is a vegan product at the end of the day, and it is in lower quantities. It makes you alkaline. It helps you, but we are unable to stop. We're unable to stop. We keep going on and on.
No, they say, for example, red wine is very good for your body. Is it a red wine lobby which is saying it, or is it a truth?
See, the red wine is filled with preservatives. It is filled with chemicals so that it is on your table 20 years after it was bottled. So it is the preservative that make it that give it the acid part. If it was fresh red wine, I'm sure it is good in small quantities. Yeah.
Yes, in Vienna they serve fresh wine. I don't know whether you've been to Austria. Many of those places where you go, they have fresh wine. Both of course. Austria is famous for all kinds of wines, but the fresh wines are very special in Austria. Maybe they recognize
I'm sure.
Aspect. How about the vaccines? What is your view on that?
We actually do not have much freedom of speech, but I will tell you my thoughts on it. Okay. First of all, I will tell you. Okay. This is a virus that keeps changing its genome. Yeah, as it replicates, it changes, because nature has given everybody some gifts. Okay, the gift of this virus is it can change his entire body. You and me, I cannot become a woman, I cannot become a lion, I cannot become a sheep, but this virus can change its entire body. Yeah, there is a reason for that. Thank you for your question. I will tell you the reason. Why do we get colds? Okay, if the virus is unable to change its genome, I would have only one cold. We will all have one cold in our lifetime and never a cold again. So, because
Is
the
that why?
mRNA,
Is that why some diseases you don't get their second time?
that's correct.
Like chicken pox, they say you don't get it, or smallpox.
That's correct, because they can't change their genome. But there is a reason. I will tell you, Mr. Srinivasan, I'll share this again with your viewers. Everything around us is goodness, including the COVID virus. It is goodness only. Earth has no evil in it. The evil is within us, our minds and our toxic bodies. I will tell you the reason. Now, for us to live long, our immune system has to be always working. Okay, if I don't get a cold, my immune system does not get that impetus. Do you understand? Okay, now let me take back to our birth. Okay, when we undergo our birth, we have been for 10 months within the sterile amniotic fluid of the mother. Okay, as the amniotic fluid breaks and we come through the birth canal, the first immunological exposure occurs through the birth canal, through the acidic bacteria of the vagina. That is the first immune impetus to the body, and which is so very important. That is why a normal delivery is so very important. And when the lung is compressed, that is the first yoga. The lung is compressed, and then as it comes out, the lung expands. These are all the immunological impetus. And when the skull is molding to come out to the birth canal, so many growth factors, and the brain, everything is undergoing a stimulation. Okay. Similarly, throughout our life, the immune system has to be stimulated, and to give us longevity and a good and healthy immune status. That is why nature has given these mRNA viruses to the ability to change their genome, so that somebody who has this after 2 months gets one more cold, so that he gets that immune stimulus. That is the reason why Earth gives it. Unfortunately, due to our toxic degradation of our own bodies, of all the peoples of the world, we are developing a hyper-inflammatory response to this simple virus, and we are killing ourselves. It is actually not the virus that is doing it. It is our own response to the virus that is doing it.
Yeah. Anyway, on vaccines, there are so many theories. Maybe it is not good for us to bring it out, because people believe that this is to be done and it has to be done. So the so-called vaccine, suspects or vaccine, those who oppose vaccine, and that is not something to be discussed. I don't know.
I think so, but I will tell you my
vaccine skeptics.
Supposing the vaccine was produced by a non-profit organization and given to the whole world, the people will think again, should I produce something to a virus that is changing every day? For example, today we say this vaccine is not effective against the Delta variant. Delta variant is the Alpha variant of yesterday. It has changed. There's no Alpha or Beta anymore. Delta is the one today. Tomorrow it will become Omega. Tomorrow, do you understand? These simple things are being lost out. Because I'll tell you again, because we all think, we are punted, we know much. Actually, because of the lack of nutrients in our food, we have all become idiots and morons. And we think we know much. We have become very egoistic. We lose out on the basics, and we are missing out big time.
But in your own daily medical practice, don't you prescribe allopathic medicines? Don't you use allopathic instruments, all that? Or have you changed that?
Of course, allopathy is needed. If I have a fracture femur, I have to immediately, I need to have surgery. I need to have an antibiotic. I need to have a painkiller, all that. The point I'm saying is, when it is not necessary, you should not be doing it. That is all. Of course, we have advanced so much. Our anesthesia has advanced so much. But we have lost out. We have lost our way mainly in lifestyle diseases and in our immunity, understanding of our immunity. Yeah, it is because of overusage of chemical drugs. Use it only when it is necessary. I will give you many examples. Okay. For example, we all buy vitamin B, vitamin C in the market every day. Why? Why? Because we know that man is incapable of producing what the soil can produce. We take a small piece of lemon or a small piece of watermelon or orange. It gives us pure organic vitamin C. Why do we resort to a chemical vitamin C, which is something that we have tried to simulate or copy the chemical formula? It never works. We have vitamin C of 500 milligram tablet, 1000 milligram tablet, but all we need is 60 milligrams a day. And when a chemicalized vitamin goes in, if it's a water soluble vitamin, it goes out immediately in the urine. It is just a waste. While an organic vitamin, the body will never go into toxicity. The body is so happy. Okay. In a case of oil soluble vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin A, when you take an artificial vitamin, we go into toxicity very easily and nobody picks it up. People come with headache, nausea the next day, and you go into a headache management. But we don't realize it to our own chemicals that we have taken. So what I'm saying, whenever possible, we should resort to earth and earth products, nutrition from earth. And only when needed should we resort to a chemical drug.
So to resist or prevent COVID, this is very much well recognized. But once somebody has an infection, then what do you do? Do you recommend giving medicines?
Thank you very much. Now we are going into this thing. See, what we have done here is, supposing a COVID patient comes in, okay, and he also has concomitant malaria or typhoid alongside, okay. What we do, but this is something you have to have a very good understanding of immunity, alkalinity. We do not treat the malaria. We do not treat the typhoid at the moment. Let him come out of his pulmonary symptoms with alkaline nutrition. You understand? Even paracetamol, you should not give it overboard. Give just when the COVID does not produce very high temperatures. But even the moderate temperature, don't go after it. The simple paracetamol is another killer at these times. Okay, I will tell you a few basic things. When you come with a fever, the fever is body's response. It's an evolutionary response that we have got to improve our immune system. As the body gets warmer, the immune system is really on its edges. Okay, waiting for its action. When we bring down the temperature, the immune system becomes cold again. More importantly, higher temperature and the virus becomes more inactive. So we should not go overboard in trying to bring the temperature down. These are all the mainstream mistakes that we make. And many of the doctors will not even understand what I'm saying because they have not experienced. He will say, what is he talking about? Yes, I'm talking the truth. You understand? Yes. So we should go easy on chemicals. And if the typhoid can wait, it waits as you come out of your COVID. Save the pulmonary symptoms first, bring him out. Otherwise, if you go after typhoid, malaria, or other diseases, you will never come out of because you're making the immunity down, making the body more acidic, and there is no way out. It is a one-way track to ICU, to the ventilator, and then that is how it goes. Yeah, I've tried to give you an understanding.
Okay, doctor, you are very helpfully at the end of your book given some 10 questions. Maybe it may be good for us to go over them with your short explanations. This I'm doing to create interest in the book, because when they find these questions, they will know that there is something in the book where they must read. So for that, may I just go over some of them?
Surely.
The first one is about body pH and acidity. Is gastric acidity related to body acidity?
The reason why I put that question is, when I talk of body acidity, the common man generally thinks, oh, I'm not acidic, I don't have body acidity. We are not talking of gastric acidity. That is the point I wanted to bring out. Okay, of course, gastric acidity is in a person whose body is overall acidic and whose body is
an outcome. It's a symptom of acidity, right?
Yeah. Okay. I will make this point again. Acid, the hydrochloric acid of a pH of maybe around 1 or 1.5, in the stomach is made from our blood. It is the parietal cells of the stomach make it. It's a wonderful phenomenon. And all over the world, as soon as the person comes into the hospital, before starting antibiotics, we give an acid blocker. okay, which is you're bringing down the immunity. Okay, even in gastric acidity, it is not the acid production that you must bring down. You must upgrade you must correct the imbalance in the stomach. It is the mucosa that is producing the pain. You must upgrade the mucosa with nutrition. That is the answer. Now, having talked about gastric acidity, yeah, the first question was to make the public understand. Somebody might just not get it. He might think, "Oh, I have no acidity. What is the problem?" So, gastric acidity is not body acidity, though it is part of body acidity and body.
How about the water having the right pH for? Is that possible? Drinking water?
It is so very, very important. Yeah, that is why we should all resort to a well water, which is not acidic. Well water inside the city will again be acidic. But Earth's water, well water, is alkaline in a village setup. Okay, so now we have alkalinizing machines, alkalizing agents. The Japanese have come out. In fact, Japan has alkaline water in all its government hospitals because they see the results. So we should all be drinking alkaline water.
Spring water will be useful.
Spring water is ultimate. It is alkaline and full of minerals. Water is life. And spring water is the ultimate alkaline water. Yes.
Yes, in fact, the best water that they sell in the United States is called Fiji, the island where I used to be India's High Commissioner. And the Fiji water, it's entirely from spring water, and it's now selling very well in the West. And they say because it is alkaline. It might be well be true. Your second question is why are children and teens not affected as of now from the current COVID pandemic?
Yeah, that is again to tell me the point, to stress the point that the problem that we face today is not really, of course, the COVID virus has got a gain of function from either from the lab or by its own animal transmission. We do not know. We will never know. However, how you and me are alive today, all of us are alive today, despite the virus. Okay, despite the virus. It's because our immune system has sustained us. So the reason why we have this problem today is because of lowering of the world immunity due to our toxic lifestyles and toxic nutrition.
And children have not got used to that, level yet. Is that the reason? I see.
Mm-hmm. It takes about 20-25 years. That is the point I'm trying to say. Yes. And in countries where the toxic lifestyle is starting off with the kids, you will see even teens getting affected. Yeah.
But now there is a fear that the third wave might affect children. Why is that?
The problem is it will not affect all children all over the world. It will be in countries where I said the toxic lifestyle, the processed food start early in life. See, I will tell you one more point. Okay. We had influenza 45, 50 years ago. Why is there no influenza pandemic now? Just think about it. Do you think the influenza virus just disappeared? Of course not. Did it go to Mars or Jupiter, go back out of the Earth? No.
But people take a lot of flu vaccines, at least in America.
It is all...
Could that be a reason? No.
Have you taken? I have not taken. So
yes, I have taken once in America. The doctor insisted that you must.
Okay, sir. Okay. So we have a planetary interconnection. Okay, our body gets used, just as we will also get used to the COVID. Our bodies will find a way. Our bodies will find a way to find, which you and me, we are alive because our bodies have found a way to keep the COVID away. It will happen. And there's an interplanetary interconnection between all of us, all the peoples of the world, in fact, with animals and with plants too. It takes some time to understand it. Okay, we are all connected. So our immune system will get used to the COVID, you and me and all of us on Earth. And very soon, this will become like a passing cold as our immune systems get oriented and get to know how to keep this away.
That's what President Trump said right from the beginning. This is just a flu. But of course, that cost America many lives. So, and about veganism. Anyway,
yes, sir.
No, your third question is about veganism. You yourself framed this question. Do you mean to say that the whole world should embrace veganism? Which means no meat, no milk product, no egg, only vegetables, right? There's no other. What is the difference between vegetarian and vegan?
Sir, thank you very much. The difference is a vegan does not take any animal product, any dairy product. So it does not take milk.
Not even milk and Dehi.
Yeah, there were times written in the Indian historical books. There were times about 2000 years before Christ when that part of central India, which was India, there was no disease. And there was also no prisons because there was no crime and there was no disease. Nobody had any disease. At that time, people understood alkalinity, people understood vegetables and the goodness of all the earth's products. Okay, if the world were to go vegan, there would no lifestyle disease would exist, no COVID problems would exist. I have no doubts about that. But of course, I cannot stress that. But at least stay 80% vegan in your life and stop the most negative immune nutrition foods that we consume every day. And we will see a big difference. However,
So it
I hope I'm clear.
depends on how far you can move in that direction, right?
Yes, we should all be moving in that direction. At the end of the day, Mr. Srinivasan, the moment you become vegan and the more you go into alkalinity, you will realize that animals are another form of us. That awareness will come. That is what I've said. Awareness of our life will come to us, of what we are doing. And once we are aware, we will naturally move on to veganism. And
Okay,
that is
you
the way
yourself
forward.
asked this question about lions. Lions are
Yes.
proclaimed meat eaters. What do you say to this?
Thank you. The reason why I said this, just as we have lost our way, so have the animals in the animal kingdom. Okay. And I always say, instead of asking people to do a health checkup, I ask a simple question. Do you have a good good shit or a good bowel evacuation every morning? If the patient says no, then he has a problem. The greatest pleasure of our life is a complete bowel evacuation in the morning, which happens to every vegan and everybody who is not taking the processed food and negative immune nutrition. The lion never has this any day of his life, but every cow, every buffalo, they all have this healthy bowel evacuation. So I'm just trying to figure out somebody who is very acidic will not even understand what I'm saying. Okay, so the lions have had an aberration just like we have had. Somewhere they lost their way.
I see. So they have a mechanism by which they are able to sustain themselves even with all the meat that they eat. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So what is the role of drugs in our future?
So, Srinivasan, there are no roles for drugs. When you see your body as a divine creation, you will not destroy it with any chemical, man-made chemical. Okay. However, as I said before, drugs make a lot of difference, and in emergency situations, we need to resort to them. But in general, if you want to live long, try not to have a single drug in your life.
Well, that is easier said than done. but but people do realize that. Many people do say, but then there is a desirable level and a possible level. There is that distinction. Because suddenly when you have something, you immediately rush to the doctor and say, even the most ignorant people will say, please, doctor, give me an injection. Because they believe that an injection will save their lives, not an Ayurvedic doctor, spending days together to do chill and so on. So this immediate change, you have a paracetamol tablet, and then your pain just disappears. It's like magic. So people tend to believe in it, and therefore there's a slow process of change. But then the biggest thing is now we are building up pharmacology in a big way. Millions are being spent on it, and the whole system is now based on how much pharmacy we have. In fact, we India take pride in the fact that we are the pharmacy of the world, though we failed when the right time came. So that is the way world is going, not in the way you are suggesting, because now the biggest industries are all turning into pharmacy. So what will you do? How will you deal with it in the future?
Thank you very much. See, I will tell you, that is why we are fast going into an extinction because of the chemical drugs. It's a self-extinction that we find ourselves in this position today. We are in a digital world, Mr. Srinivasan. We want instant results. Okay, that is why, say for example, diabetes. Okay, we are made to believe that blood sugar. It's a blood sugar, not body sugar, that we check. It has to be maintained. So we do everything to make our blood sugar stay in a constant way. Our body is dynamic. Okay. The problem with diabetes is a lethargy of the pancreas gland. All it needs is alkaline nutrition. The drugs and the injections given to reduce blood sugar does not give it nutrition. That is why not a single person comes out of diabetes. But with nutrition, you can come out of diabetes. Anybody can come out in a few months' time, if not a few weeks' time. All you need is alkaline nutrition and a non-toxic way of life. But we are in a digital world. I want my sugar and everything to be ready in 1 hour's time. So I resort to insulin, I resort to drugs that bring the sugar down. It is like polishing a car and making the car shine, but not doing any work to the engine. So the car doesn't move and your diabetes does not move away from you. That is what is happening all around the world today. Pharmaceutical companies should go back and change into organic nutrition and support organic food. That is the only way forward.
Right. Well, this is a big challenge, because once the economy is built up on a particular way, there will be naturally pressures on mankind to adjust to that. I mean, we are seeing it all around the world. A product is produced and then we get accustomed to it and we get addicted to it. I know people who cannot sleep without drinking Coca-Cola every night. So these things happen to humanity, and then those of you who advocate a different kind of approach will get isolated. Don't you think?
Yes, Mr. Srinivasan, I think a day will come soon where the economy, the GDP, the GNP, all that does not matter, because we will be succumbing to viruses or fungi in future. All that matters will be a nation's immune health of its people. Our greatest asset will be the alkalinity and the immune health of its people. And that is what matters. At that time, the economy does not matter. Your GDP does not matter. In fact, if one opens one's eyes, you can see it happening now. Yeah, you can see it happening now. And as the immunity goes down, we don't know what is in future. Yeah.
Okay, now we are talking about post-COVID world. You yourself asking this question: will life change forever, or will we return to normal like before the pandemic? That sounds like a dream. When I think of what my life was last year, January, February, it's a distant dream now. You could walk around, meet people, travel around. Now you don't even think about it, and you don't even seem to miss it because you have got accustomed to it. Oh, it's all right, staying at home. What does it matter? So, but will we ever be able to go back to that happy days before the pandemic came?
Thank you very much. I believe that life cannot come back to like it was before, because unless we upgrade our immunity, and this is not happening at the moment. We are going after drugs, we are going after things to stop the virus. But it is not the virus to blame, it is our own immunity. Okay, if it's not the virus, the fungi will come, or another virus will come. So to normalcy, as we see before, as we have experienced before, we have to upgrade our immunity. And that is the only way. That is the only way. There is no chemical drug that is going to upgrade us and keep this at bay. No. The virus is ubiquitous. It is there everywhere. It can travel everywhere. It is everywhere. And so are all the viruses. And we have to be friendly with them. We have to keep them as part of us. Only if we are immune competent. Our bodies should be immune competent. And that is what national leaders should understand and propagate. They should not listen to the mainstream and go after drugs and go after what people are saying. You must look at countries which have no COVID, countries that are not resorting to drugs, because they have a better non-toxic way of life and resorting to positive alkaline nutrition.
How about these three practices which are now established for prevention? That is, first, of course, is washing of hands. Second is social distancing. And what is the third? There are two or three things that we do, and it's established that. Sorry, I'm asking. So these three things are considered to be accepted as standard. But a day may come, one day they may say what you did was all wrong. There was no need to do that. Do you envisage that?
I think so. See, when we are putting alcohol to our hands, you must realize there are the bacterial normal flora of our hand, which we need, normal flora of our skin. We are taking them away. So we are actually inviting disease when we overdo it. Okay, you can wash with soap and water, but too much alcohol and we take away the normal flora. When we apply
Sanitizer.
mask all the time, we are actually breathing back our own carbon dioxide. Okay, and we are actually more carbon dioxide makes our body more acidic, and we are actually harming ourselves. So we have to strike a balance. Strike a
And
balance
social
between
distancing will be helpful. Social
social
distancing.
distance the way it should be. That is how we. Why go very near? Stay at. That is how it should be. That's
Say
how it.
namaste. Say namaste. Don't shake hands. And
Oh,
don't
what
embrace anyway. So these are
we
all.
don't know what man's hand was. So there is no need to shake hands at all. That is the way it should have been.
Okay. Now, other diseases. We have talked about COVID. Do you think, I think you're at least assuming that any disease can be dealt with through this process? How do you explain that?
See, I will tell you, Mr. Srinivasan, the alkaline nutrition is not only a prevention of diseases, it's also curative. Okay, it's also curative. You understand alkaline nutrition, stop. See, when a patient comes, say, for example, a diabetic or a hypertensive, let's move from diabetes to hypertension. Okay, hypertension is a lifestyle disease. Okay, the doctor's job is not to treat the blood pressure. The doctor's real job to cure that patient is to find the root cause of the hypertension. You can actually sit and talk to him for 10 minutes and you will find the root cause. Okay, you will find the root cause. It could be lack of sleep, it could be late dinners, it could be some emotional things going on, or it could be anything. It could be his diet, is to bring it out and then educate him. And then in India, we have yoga practice. Yoga is the ultimate answer for maintaining body alkalinity and mind alkalinity. If you can tell the patient, every doctor should know yoga. Treat hypertension, because if you teach the patient 3 yoga asanas, within 20 minutes his blood pressure will come down. You demonstrate it to him, show him 3 asanas, make him do, check the BP again, and then ask him to do the asanas for a month or so and come back, and you start stopping his drugs. That is the way forward. That is why the time has come for us to combine yoga, combine our own traditional practices, everything in the medicine, so that we can give a holistic answer to these problems. And nobody with hypertension should be resorting to a chemical intervention when we have alkaline nutrition and yoga in our hands.
Okay. Suppose a man who has been tested 3 times positive. What is your advice to him?
Yes, the point I'm saying is not to panic. You are alive today. You are 3 times positive, but your body has taken care of it and you are alive today. Get on with your life. Stick to alkaline nutrition. Go on an alkaline way and be strong and positive. Yeah. At this time, I must also say people who have come out of the ICU and many other people also who have got mild pulmonary symptoms and come out may have had too many chemicals also to get them through that inflammatory period. They would all can go into a post-COVID condition, which is
And
serious.
some of them are very serious and even lead to death.
Yes, it is actually an exhaustion of the nervous system. The immune system and the nervous system are very, very
So
linked.
in a way, the treatment influences it. What you
Yes.
have been through.
Yes. In fact, people who have had too many chemicals and antibiotics will have a long COVID. The answer for this is, again, going back to a circadian rhythm of life, getting up early, sleeping early, taking good rest for the next 2 or 3 months, and going completely into earth products only. Okay. No refined foods, and you come out of it. Otherwise, there could be not millions, billions, 1 or 2 billions in the world going into this post-COVID condition. They will not be able to work. They will just be lethargic and cannot go back to their previous energy levels.
No, but one problem we have in this context is that we don't grow most of the vegetables that we eat. We buy from the market and they're already preserved. So how do you deal with that? And there is poison on it. An apple lasts for 6 months on the shelf. So even if you decide to eat only vegetables from tomorrow, and if you don't grow them yourself and go and buy from the market, you are exposed to the same dangers.
Thank you very much. We have come to a stage in life where we have to grow our own vegetables if we have to be healthy. That is, we have come to that. Because
in Kerala, it doesn't work. There is no land. We have to depend on our friends in Tamil Nadu. So,
Yes, sir. I've said, supposing I have a problem, I will find out the best surgeon and go and pay his fees and go many miles to see him. The same thing we should do with our daily food intake. If you're buying from an organic, say an organic place, you go and visit it, see what they're doing, and we have to make the effort. Nutrition is is so very important
well,
at these
even
times.
organic is sometimes adulterated. So
Yes,
you can
yes.
never be sure.
But we have to make a call. We have to make a call. And we have to put a lot of effort and study to what we buy and what we eat. Yes.
Okay, you devised this other questions. Very interesting about what Mr. Modi did. He said, let us ring bells and bang steel plates and vessels to drive corona away. What was the basis of this?
Yes, I brought
Or
that
is
in.
there a basis?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. See, I will tell you something. When you have a post-COVID condition, if you are a singer, sing for half an hour in the morning. That will bring the alkalinity and the body goes into a non-toxic phase. Okay, that is what happens. People go to a church or a temple, they listen to the festival, suddenly their back pain goes away. People, you think they are feigning. They're not feigning. It is the sudden alkalinity that comes into you. And I talked about our interconnection. When we all sing a same song or do a same thing, we get interconnected and the alkalinity comes in. So actually, it plays a big role. And it was actually the alkalinity and the immunity that goes up with that.
So it's a kind of psychological treatment.
It is not psychological. It is as our body calms down, we and the entire community, our immunity and our alkalinity goes up. Yes, it is maybe psychological too, but then it happens, and we see it all the time.
But because the people laughed at it and considered it was something crazy, and so he is not continuing. He is not suggesting that we do it now. He did it early, so that means obviously he himself is convinced that this is not going to have the kind of effect that he initially expected. Is that so? Could that be possible?
Possible, I don't know. I do not know. But
Otherwise, if it is effective, why not start every day? Every day, let everybody start with the day with a prayer or banging of bells, etc. But that is not being accepted.
Yes, sing a family song, come get together. It brings the alkalinity for the day. And along with alkaline diet, your alkalinity for the day is conquered. Yes, the answer is yes.
And now the crucial question you yourself asked. I'm not convinced about your arguments. What do I do? That's a very good question.
See, I will tell you something. Somebody who is gone down the wrong way, which I see as a wrong way, going down the acidic and the chemical pathway, will not even understand. They will not finish my book. They will say, he's talking of cabbage and cauliflower. What is he? He won't even finish the book. So I asked him to read it again, look at the diagrams again, and look at people. In fact, I could have added a lot of patients of my own who have come out of diabetes, come out of COVID with just alkaline nutrition. But then I'm not allowed to give out information, not allowed to give out numbers. So I could not resort to that. So
not to counter the medical record. That's probably that is part of Hippocrates' oath or whatever. That you don't counter the medical system that you follow. Anyway, Dr. Eapen, we have come a long way. Our time is also running out. But the best news I got from you today is that there are certain parts of the world, because of their food habits, may be already immune to COVID. So even if there is an existential threat to human beings in other parts of the world, at least some sections of the world will remain. That's a great news. And I hope that's the right one. And also that if you start with the young people, anyway, let us think about the young people who are not born today, tomorrow. And if we can make a conscious effort to turn them alkaline, perhaps we may have found the answer. So these two things I'm very impressed with. But how much opposition have you had with your thesis? Your book has already been out. Many people have read it. Has there been any severe criticism?
Yes. Yes. There are who cannot comprehend this, who cannot understand this. But it will take some time.
It is not banned anywhere, this book.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not yet. Not yet.
Very good. So anyway, thank you very much for spending this much time in early morning. And I know you are a morning riser, so I don't feel very guilty about it. But I think this will show a lot of interest. People will read your book and also discuss it. And I'm sure in our own forum, we will hear a lot. So I may have to invite you back one day to clarify the doubts that are being raised. So thank you very much. All the best in your effort to save humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.